Now, wait a minute. Mercury's on the move. That thing better not be going backwards.
No, not yet. We have a little while before that. But Mercury, the planet of communication, is going from the very even-tempered, which is kind of hard to believe, sign of Mercury into the sign of Scorpio. Wherever Mercury is where you focus your conscious mind. Your attention is focused on something. And that's why, and it stays in a sign for about 3 weeks. And we'll give something about 3 weeks. And if it hasn't happened in 3 weeks, we're on to the next thing.
Okay.
So for everybody involved, for Libras, the sign that we're in right now, Mercury in Scorpio means it's all about the money. It's about making more money. It's about investing more money. It's about all of the moves that a Libra makes over the next 3 weeks or so are going to be designed to end up with more money in their coffers rather than less money. So, and it's a matter of, this is not money falling out of the sky on them. This is not inherited money. This is hard work pays off kind of money.
All right.
So, which is good. For Scorpios, Mercury's in their sign, and believe it or not, Scorpios have been biting their tongue for the last 3 weeks or so, not saying very much. Well, that's all over. As soon as Mercury enters their sign, you're going to have to rip their fingernails out to get them to shut up and stop talking, which, and trying to improve their own visibility for, of course, their own ends are what they're trying to do. For Sagittarians, it's a good time to shut up and just kind of take a step back and not say too terribly much, because when Mercury is behind your sign, you tend to, and Sagittarians have a proclivity for words just to fall out of their mouth. They're anyway like, but yeah. I was going to get into trouble with that. And so they have to be really careful that the words that fall out of their mouth, they will have to eat down the road. That's the trouble with Mercury's in your 12th house. It's your own words get used against you. So if you're going to say anything, Sag, be sure they're delicious and tasty. For Capricorns, this energy is in their 11th house of hopes, wishes, goals, and objectives. And for Capricorns everywhere, they want to tap their powerful female friends and colleagues on the shoulder to help them get what the Capricorn says that they want, is the thing for that. And rather than them doing the heavy lifting themselves or them being the bad guy, they're going to count on their female friends or colleagues to do that for them. So we'll see where that goes. For Aquarians, it's in their 10th house of career and public standing, and they just need to keep their head down and stay out of the line of fire. They cannot say anything that will help it. Anything they say is going to come back to haunt them, because Mercury in Scorpio squares their sign. And even though they may be right about what they're saying, it's not going to be particularly well received. So the best thing for them to do is to exercise their right to remain silent and keep your head down and stay out of the line of fire is the big thing for Aquarians. For Pisces, this energy is in the 9th house of the law. Legal matters, educational matters, important matters at a distance all go very favorably for the Pisces. It's a good time to sign contracts, to do any kind of negotiation. For the Pisces, they will have the upper hand on that. And something they've been working on for about a year can come to be with an exquisite sense of timing over the next 2-3 weeks or so. For Aries, it's about the money and it's about the resources they share with other people. It's about looking around to see the resources that you have and finding a way to maximize them rather than looking for new resources. And it's a good time for money, literally, to fall out of the sky on Aries. So I'd buy a lottery ticket if I was Aries over the next couple of weeks or so. Not 100, but I would buy one. For Tauruses, this energy is in their 7th house of intimate one-to-one relationships. And Tauruses are, even though they're represented by a creature that has vocal cords, they usually don't say too much until it's like their last nerve, until it's all they can have, stand like Popeye where they can't stand no more. It's that kind of a thing. And then you're going to hear very loudly and very plaintively from Tauruses, and especially younger Tauruses have a lot more to say. So I imagine you're going to hear from one of your kids.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. For Geminis, this energy is in their 6th house of work and responsibilities, and Geminis just need to, and it's the hardest thing for a Gemini to do is pick one thing, give it their undivided attention, but they really need to focus on the job that they've been hired to do and just to do that job rather than doing a whole bunch of other things. And there's some sort of medical information I think that they've been afraid to deal with, and it's really not that bad. They really need to go ahead and just deal with it directly. Procrastinating is only going to make it worse. And then some obstacle, interesting for Gemini, some obstacle that had been in their way gets out of their way. And I don't know what that means for President Trump, but there's some obstacle that finally gets out of the way. And he has a little bit easier time of just doing his job. For Cancers, it's the 5th house of love affairs, children, sports, amusements, pleasures, anything fun, anything entertaining, right up the Cancer's alley. Again, I have to say they need to be proactive if they don't want children, or proactive if they do want children, because it's a very loving, fun time, and that's a lot of times the byproduct of that is something that ends up taking on a life of their own, be it a child or a child of their mind. And then for Leos, this energy is in the 4th house of home. Something new comes to light over the next 3 weeks that changes things for Scorpios one way or another.
Scorpios or Leos?
I mean for Leos, because Scorpio is in their 4th house of home. So it's something that gets revealed. And this could be something from a long time ago. that kind of frees them up in some way. It liberates them in some way for something that either it was a secret that they thought nobody else knew, but it's really not. I'm not sure what exactly it is, but I know at the end of this 3-week period, Leo is feeling a lot lighter and a lot happier, and it's like they've had the opportunity to set down some heavy load they've been dragging around. So that's a cool thing.
All right.
And then for Virgos, the last sign of the zodiac, Virgos have lots of places to go, people to see, things to do. They can't dally, they can't dilly, they can't dawdle around. And they're going to find a way to use their words to reach a broader audience. They may get to learn something very useful about their world. They may get an opportunity for some kind of continuing education. But whatever it is quite a schooling that Virgos receive over the next 3 weeks or so. And it's information they need to have.
Okay.
So it will work out well for them. So that's tomorrow's news today for the 12 signs of the zodiac for a week that has the new moon in Libra, and then Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter all in Scorpio. So
Woohoo!
should be interesting times here in the United States.
Sounded like pretty good news. We'll see you next week. Do it
Most
again.
people, always a pleasure.